Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Cricket World Cup Experience. I'm your host Harvey Bhogal. If you are a fan of our content, please like this video, please leave a comment below, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon. Please follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at CWC Experience. We're about halfway through the competition so far. In today's episode, episode 3, we will be reviewing the fixtures from the third week of the 2019 Cricket World Cup. England thrashed the West Indies at the Rose Bowl. They bowled them all out for only 212. The main weapons for England were Jofra Archer and Mark Wood, both with their pace, both taking 3 wickets each. Now, Jason Roy had injured his left hamstring fielding, so Joe Root, who had already taken 2 wickets bowling, was then moved up the order. Now, he carried that momentum into his batting with a fabulous unbeaten century. He made 95 with Johnny Bairstow for the opening partnership, and then made 104 runs in a partnership with Chris Wokes. England won by 8 wickets with 16 overs and 5 balls to spare. It was a very impressive win for England, but for the West Indies, not very impressive at all. They're now really going to struggle to make the top 4 and get a semi-final place. So Australia batted first and put on a competitive 334 for 7. Aaron Finch, the captain, made a magnificent 153 of 132 balls, and then the ever-impressive Steve Smith added 73. Now, Sri Lanka's run chase got off to a flyer. They finished the first 10 overs 87 for 0, which is the highest score at the end of the first power play at this World Cup so far. However, Australia's danger men did the damage, and Sri Lanka had a middle-order batting collapse. Stark finished with 4 for 55. Kane Richardson finished with 3 for 47. It was a shame for Sri Lanka, whose top-order batsmen had put in some good scores. Dimith Karunaratne scored 97 and Kusal Perera scored 52. It was an improved performance by the Sri Lankans, who previously have not played that well at this World Cup, although they have been unlucky with some green top pitches. Australia, however, despite not playing at their best, still find a way to win. South Africa finally got their first win of the tournament. They bowled out Afghanistan for only 125. Imran Tahir, who finished with figures of 4 for 29, took 2 wickets in his first over. Now, usually Afghanistan at the start of the innings, you expect them to come out with flashy strokes, and they did with Hazratullah Zazai and Noor Ali Zadran, who eventually got the Afghans to 69 for 2. However, rain poured, and then as soon as they came back after the rain delay, it was calamity for the Afghans. They lost 4 wickets for 1 run in 10 balls. In reply, Quinton de Kock made 68 as South Africa reached their revised target of 127 with 19 overs and 5 balls to spare. So to the big one, India versus Pakistan. 1 billion watching on TV, a full house at Old Trafford, and 800,000 people had applied for tickets to be there. Now, India put on 336 for 5. Rohit Sharma scored a fantastic 140. Captain fantastic Virat Kohli pitched in with 77 of his own. Only Mohammad Amir with his 3 for 47 impressed with the ball for Pakistan. Now, chasing 337, Pakistan didn't come close. They collapsed to 166 for 6, and once the rain poured, it was effectively the end of the game. And Hardik Pandya was impressive with the ball, as was Vijay Shankar on his World Cup debut. However, India will still hope that Bhuvneshwar Kumar returns to fitness and returns to the squad for this World Cup. India handled the big game pressure to win this one quite convincingly. Now, in ODI head-to-heads, Pakistan is still in the lead, 73 to 55 with 4 tied. However, in World Cup matches, India still have a clean sweep, which they have now extended to 7-0. So the West Indies batted first and made 321 for 8. Opener Evan Lewis scored an entertaining 70, but the anchor of the innings was Shai Hope with 96. Also, Shimron Hetmar scored an absolutely destructive 25-ball 50, which is the joint quickest with Alex Carey now. So chasing 322, then the Bangladeshis made a swift start. However, they lost 2 early wickets. So when at the end of the 19th over it was 133 for 3, the game was evenly balanced. But then up stepped the world's best all-rounder Shakib Al Hassan. He scored an unbeaten 124. And along with Liton Das, they both made 189, which saw the Tigers home. Now, in the end, it was an easy victory for the Tigers. They made 300 within 40 overs. And then they reached their target in the 42nd over. Now, this was no shocker. This was the 5th time in a row that Bangladesh had beaten the West Indies in an ODI. Now, Bangladesh were making a statement here that they are serious about taking one of these semi-final spots. So England batted first and made a mammoth 397 for 6. Now, James Vince was given his chance at the top of the order with the injury to Jason Roy. However, like he's done many times before, he made a good start but then failed to make that big score. His opening partner, Johnny Bairstow, however, managed to make 90. Now, there was doubt as to whether Owen Morgan would play, considering he'd suffered a back spasm in the previous match. However, he scored a whopping 148 runs off 71 balls, including 17 sixes, which is now a record in an ODI. Joe Root also contributed with 88 runs in a fantastic innings and very selfless. Now, it was always going to be tough for Afghanistan to chase this down. However, they did bat well. They ended up making 247 for 8, and notably, it was the first time in this tournament that they managed to bat out the whole innings. So it proves that they're moving in the right direction, but they're still looking for that first victory. England, however, are proving that they're being labelled as favourites for this tournament is no joke. Now, South Africa batted first, but they struggled. They only managed to make 241 for 6 off their 49 overs. Hashim Amlo's really struggled for form, really dug deep for his 55. And Van der Dussen played some excellent shots for his unbeaten 67. Now, it looked like New Zealand were going to win this easily. However, this was a very difficult pitch to bat on, and South Africa bowled very well. Both teams ended up scoring under 5 runs an over, which is absolutely unheard of in modern one-day cricket. Now, the Kiwis found themselves down 137 for 5. So in this context, Kane Williamson's unbeaten 106 to steer his team home looks very impressive. He was supported by the Zimbabwean-born Colin de Gronholm with 60 off 47 balls. Now, New Zealand's struggle showed that South Africa had actually batted quite well. They showed a lot of concentration to be able to get that score in the end. However, it was not enough to win. It's a shame for the South Africans. It looks like they're going to have to rebuild and recoup for the next tournament. So Australia batted first and made a massive 381 for 5. David Warner started slowly but then picked up the gears and made a huge 166. Usman Khawaja was brilliant with his 89. Now, after a steady start, Australia really accelerated through their innings, and Bangladesh only started to take wickets towards the end once it was too late. However, in their run chase, Bangladesh came out with the right attitude. However, they lost wickets at crucial stages whenever they were starting to build a partnership. In the end, Mustafa Kur was fantastic with his 102 not out, and Mahmudullah also chipped in with a handy 69. Now, even though they lost this match by 48 runs, their 333 for 8 is the highest total that they've ever scored at a World Cup. As for Australia, they are now grinding out wins like a championship side does. And finally, to the biggest shock of the tournament. On a sticky wicket at Headingley, Sri Lanka dug deep and battled hard for 232 for 9. Now, in hindsight, this ended up looking like quite a good effort by the Sri Lankans, particularly the match-winning innings of 85 not out by the out-of-form but gutsy veteran Angelo Matthews. Other important contributions came from Avishka Fernando and Kusal Mendis. Now, in his last World Cup, it was another veteran, Lasith Malinga, who produced another career highlight with 4 for 43. Now, he took the wickets of both openers, the wicket of Joe Root, which started England's collapse, and then the really important wicket of Jos Buttler, which stopped England from being able to rebuild after. Dhananjaya de Silva took 3 wickets in quick succession. Now, Ben Stokes played brilliantly for 82 off 89, and it looked like he was about to rescue England. But for a masterful ball by Pradeep, on his last ball of his last 10 overs, took the wicket of Mark Wood, and England were bowled all out for 212. Now this is a huge turnaround for England. They've gone from being favourites to now some questioning whether they'll qualify for the semi-finals, as they now have to play Australia, India and New Zealand in their final remaining fixtures. Sri Lanka have been very unlucky at this World Cup, with green top pitches and with 2 games rained off. They have not been in great form, but both victories have shown how much amazing team spirit there is inside that dressing room. England fans will not want to hear this, but the competition really needed a game like this. The top teams were starting to pull away, it was starting to become a 2-tier table, and each of the matches was starting to become a bit too predictable. The competition has now opened up and world cricket is far better for it. So that brings us to the end of episode 3. Hope that you enjoyed it. Please like this video and please comment below. Please follow us on all our social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Hope to see you next time for episode 4.